Welcome to Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we will keep on this one. That's a mana crypt, that's 3 lands, it's Pyroclasm against hopefully a bunch of creatures of power 2 or less. And yeah, that sounds pretty good. So let's go and lead off with Mountain. Yeah, I think that'll work out. Let's go for Mountain. Let's go for Faith is Saluting. Let's draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. And the Shaundra and Sword of Fire and Ice, protection from red and blue. I think at this point, our money's going to be on just getting rid of creatures. So I think we're just going to go ahead and dump Sword of Fire and Ice. And we've got, I guess, just in case they have an artifact. I mean, because we're looking at 2 lands with Shaundra. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's just go and discard Great first. There we go. Anything else, we will go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Gadrak. Hope you're excited to get some treasure tokens. Hopefully we get some Elven treasure tokens. That'd be pretty nice. We're playing Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge. Flying Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge, cannot attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. Then at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-artifact creature, for each non-token creature that died this turn. Whenever I read commanders, my brain tries to like autofill like on your phone. So it's just like, So if you ever wonder why I just drop a random word in there, that is 100% why. Let's go for Mountain. Yeah, I think at this point we just go Mana Crypt into... Yeah, I kind of like setting up Gadrak, to be honest. So let's do this. So let's go Gadrak, and then let's go Mana Crypt. And then next turn, we can go for Shaundra. I think that'll be good. So that'll be 1-2. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Playing against Ezuri, Claw of Progress. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you get an experience counter. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, put X+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters that you have. So, we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/Jolt MTG, that will apply my affiliate link. So that way, if you want to build your very own Gadrak treasure token deck, whatever that may be, please consider clicking on that link. That is the best way to support the channel if you enjoy my content. You can also click on the deck list too. It'll apply the coupon that way too. Or well, not coupon, but it'll apply the affiliate link. So, let's go choose tails on this one. That's going to be Lost the Flip. We are 0 for 1 on our Mana Crypt triggers, and then we draw into Mountain. So, let's go Mountain. Yeah, and I think at this point, we just end up going for Shaundra. I think that's going to be the best bet. At this point, we just want to keep hitting more mana rocks. Eventually, Pyroclasm is going to be able to kind of clean the board up just a little bit. And with this Magma Quake, that's really going to allow us to kind of set the tone. So let's do this. Let's go for the +1. Exile the top card of our library. Oh, we can't cast it. That's a bummer, man. Nope. All right, so click no, and then anything else, we will be able to pass turn over to our... Can't attack yet. We need to get 3 more artifacts, so hopefully we'll get there sometime soon. So let's get this popped down just a little bit, and there we go. Also, let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If your play group can't play in paper and you want to play online, be sure to use MTGOTraders for Magic Online. They have a wonderful selection of cards. And let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. If you go to inkgaming.com/Jolt, that will apply my coupon code, allow you to get a discount and check out some of my cool playmats. My Mad Matt Neon series. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you would like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you are keeping score at home, I'll need to check with my sleeping production assistant, Loretta, but I'm pretty sure it is officially free time. So let's have some fun. All right, so we do have Magma Quake, which is going to be 3 damage in each Planeswalker. And actually, we can survive that if we go for Magma Quake. So I think we might end up doing that. So let's go and choose tails on this one. Lost the Flip. We are 0 for 2 on those Mana Crypt. Ooh. And then we run into Mirrorworks. So let's do this. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially with Shaundra. And that's going to be Mirrorworks in 2. Let's see what we hit off the top part of our library. This is one of those decks to where if we exile something, it's not the end of the world. This is kind of like a mono red good stuff deck. Oh, Sweltering Suns. Yes, we will cast that. That sounds like a plan. And actually, we need 2. We can tap down 2 more. Oh, look at that. All right, so we're going to be able to get rid of Ezuri. It's going to send Ezuri to the... and that does actually count for a death trigger too, which I completely not forgot about that, but I'll talk about it in a second. Can't swing in, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. There we go. That will be a treasure token. Yeah, they changed the rule with the commander. If you didn't know this, that the commander death triggers properly work now, and I totally forgot about something like Sweltering Suns. That works too. So that's also one of those. Because I always knew like Alinda, you can bring it back to the command zone. I was aware of that. But I was like, oh yeah, you do need to keep in mind now that something like Sweltering Suns will send the commander to the graveyard. That just happened. And then it does allow you to still get a death trigger, which can be important. You know, having a little extra treasure token is pretty nice. All right, so opponent's going to go for a morph creature. We're probably going to end up popping this Pyroclasm next turn. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. Let's see what we, let's go for Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. We're going to choose Tails on this one. 0 for 3 on those Mana Crypt triggers, and then we draw into Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I kind of like Mirrorworks. And if we start ripping into some artifacts, that'll be pretty good. So let's have Ancient Tomb come down. And it also gets our artifact count going up too, which is going to be very important for us. So let's go for Mirrorworks. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll be just enough with Duretti too. So that way we can still at least get Duretti down. Let's go for the... Actually, we can either No, let's do this. Let's go for Duretti. I kind of like that. We're going to be able to go for Duretti because that at least gives us 2 more options on the battlefield. And if they want to start swinging in, they'll have to get rid of 2 Planeswalkers, which sounds pretty good. So let's go for the +2 ability. We're not going to discard any cards at this point because both of these are going to be very good. But we do want to get the loyalty up on Duretti. That way, if something does swing in and happen, we can at least prevent that. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, as far as the core concept of the deck, you know, we're not super going, it's not super heavy Voltron, it's not super heavy, you know, mono red Eldrazi, you know, it's just kind of like what I'd consider just mono red sneak attack without the sneak attack. You know, we're just trying to ramp as quickly as possible. Hopefully we can use some of these treasure tokens to kind of power out some of these planeswalkers. One of the big core packages that we do have in here, I guess that is kind of like, instead of it being sneak and show, we're basically looking at kind of like mono red super friends. We've got a lot of planeswalkers in here, Shaundra, Duretti, because we do have a lot of different kind of board wipes: Pyroclasm, Magma Quake, Sweltering Suns. One of the main reasons for that is, you know, if our opponent's not getting creatures out because they don't want to give us treasure tokens, at least we can kind of clean the board up with all these different kind of sweepers. And that does, yeah, we can actually block on this one. It's just a 2/2, and that'll still give us a treasure token. Yeah, that'll work. So let's do that. And if something happens to Gadrak, it's only 3. So we'll go and block on this morph token. And I think that should still apply on... No, only on our instep. So that would have been cool if it was our opponent's instep or any instep. But at least we got rid of the Hermit over there. And then... Oh, opponent said read it wrong. They thought that it couldn't attack and block. So yeah, that happens sometimes with the new commander. And then let's see. Let's go to our draw step. We'll get a Mana Crypt trigger. Let's go and choose Tails on this one. That is going to be lost the... I think we're like 0 for 4 or 5, and we rip into Karn. So at this point, let's go for the +2. Let's go and discard Karn, and then we're going to click OK, and then we're going to draw into another card. Draw into Shaundra. Okay, this is now we're really getting somewhere. So let's go for the +1 because at this point we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 total mana. I think at this point, we could try to go for an extra artifact to start to swing in since we're sitting at 4, but I just really like going for Shaundra. So let's go for this +1 ability. Get some extra red mana out there. We'll go for Shaundra Flamecaller, because one of the good things about Shaundra Flamecaller is that it just... let's tap down for that. Yeah, that'll work out. All right, so there we go. So we got Shaundra. We still have Magma Quake for technically 2 if we want to do that. Let's go for the +1. We're going to get these elemental tokens going. And it also works out really well with Gadrak too. So let's go and push in. But I think with the way that at the end step, there we go. Let's go and swing it for 3. And I think if they go on the stack, we should be able to cash in 2 treasure tokens off of this. So anything else, we could just rip a Pyroclasm, but I think it'll work this way. So let's go for the Yeah, there we go. So we put Gadrak's trigger on the stack first. Oh, and excuse me, that is an exile effect, not a sacrifice effect. So I was thinking that would give us some treasure tokens, but I misread that one. So there we go. Anything else, pass it back over there. But you can see where, you know, just having these mono red planeswalkers that you can get out there that, you know, don't necessarily just close the game out, but if you get down some combination of, you know, 3 or 4 of these red planeswalkers, it's very hard for your opponent to stop that. We do have the Shaundra Ultimate coming down. You can emblem whenever you cast a spell, it deals 5 damage to any target. And so we're definitely going to be going for that -7 next turn, because that's at least going to be Pyroclasm, Magma Quake, and we can really start sending some extra damage up top to our opponent. So now with Mirrorworks in here, I might end up cutting Mirrorworks. Mirrorworks is one of those cards that if you have it and somehow you can, wheel of fortune into some really good artifacts, just the fact that you can pay 2 mana to make a copy of your artifacts, I love it. I've always loved mirror work. So this is one of those cards that's probably on the chopping block, just simply since we have so many more planeswalkers in the deck and then we do artifacts. But we still have a high amount of artifacts to where, you can see, let's say we crack a treasure token, being able to make an extra copy of it, that's a pretty good feeling. So, all right, so opponent's going to have the Ezuri trigger. That's going to be Skullwinder. Let's see what this is. Enters the battlefield, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, okay, so this is going to be a split Eternal Witness. At this point, they're going to, we'll just take Sweltering Suns back. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. And everything's sitting at a 3/3 right now, basically 3 toughness. So this Sweltering Suns will be pretty nice. So they're going to swing in. They do have 2 experience counters. And I guess what we can do, yeah, that still won't get it on that one. All right, so they're going to put those counters onto Skullwinder. That's going to make it a 3/5. And then let's see what we draw into. At least at the very least, we're going to get rid of Ezuri and Tribe Elder and force that crack on that one. So we're going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. 1 the flip, finally. And then we draw into Gauntlet of Might, which is going to give us 6 total mana. That actually does a complete board wipe. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. If we end up going -X for 5, that's still going to get rid of Gadrak. We can put it at a 6/5 if we get down Gauntlet of Might, but that's still going to get rid of it. So I think at this point, let's do this. So let's go ahead and plus up on... Yeah, let's do this. Let's exile the top card of our library. And that was a mountain. Okay, so let's go for Gauntlet of Might. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're going to be able to do on this one is simply just hit the reset button. I kind of like that. So, oh, there we go. Look at this. Yeah. And actually, that does work out. We'll pay 1, 2. All right, so we get an extra, and this makes it a 7/6. And then let's go for the minus deals X damage to each creature. And so we'll actually just do 5 on this one. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. All right, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. It's going to get rid of Shaundra Flamecaller, unfortunately, but it's going to free up Gadrak to start swinging in. And then anything else, we still need to go for this activation. And we can sacrifice an artifact to... Oh, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. So there we go. Yeah, we got a hit on resources pretty quick. We were able to stop Ezuri early on, and that really kind of set them back. And then, thankfully, with that Shaundra ability, cleaning the board out, we're able to find a way with double Gauntlet of Might. So, that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm talking about Mirrorworks being such a fun card, is that, simply making an extra copy of even some of your late-game artifacts, it just really kind of helps propel you as far as how much mana you have, and that really helps you close the game out. So you can see where we had Magma Quake and Pyroclasm the whole time. Didn't have to use them, but we definitely could have cleaned it up. Now, playing against Ezuri with Gadrak, small mono red sweepers, this is probably one of the best matchups we can have. So I will see you in the next game. Let's see who we're playing against. And if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this. So, we've got Thrain Dynamo. We do have a board wipe in Oblivion Stone, and we do have a card draw source and Thrill Possibility. So we will definitely keep on this one. I guess if we wanted to be aggressive, we could mulligan for a sweeper effect. But hey, this is a when you've got Mana Rock, board wipe, and card draw, and 4 lands. Hey, it's kind of hard to shift that one back. So hopefully the Magic Gods will treat us fair. So there we go. Let's go and lead off with Mountain, and then anything else for 1? No, that is it. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Gadrak, the Crown-Scourge. Flying. Gadrak can't attack unless you control 4 more artifacts. Then, at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-artifact creature. For each non-token creature that died this turn. Whenever I read commanders, especially newer ones, my brain just autofills just random commander phrases in there. So there we go. It doesn't matter if it's non-artifact. It's just non-token creature. That's what matters. I'm playing against Judith, the Scourge Diva. So we got a Scourge matchup over here. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. Then, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. And that's going to be Thematic Compass. So yeah, there we go. We'll let that go on through. We did cover both commanders. Get our turn going. We'll probably end up going for a Thrill of Possibility. I think that'll work out. we can always just end up doing it on our opponent's turn too. So let's get these, there we go. Let's get those popped over. See, we draw into the turn field, draw into another mountain. So let's lead off with mountain, and then anything else, we will pass it back over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/Jolt MTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That way, if you want to build Gadrak, build your very own treasure token deck, whatever that may be, clicking on that link is one of the best ways to support the channel if you enjoy my content. So you can click on the link, or you can click on the deck link down in the description below. Either way, you're good to go. Also, let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play online, check out MTGOTraders. They have a wonderful selection of any of your card needs. And let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. If you go to inkgaming.com/Jolt, that will apply my coupon code. You'll get a discount, and you'll be able to check out some of my cool playmat designs. I got my Mad Matt Neon playmat series, and my production assistant Dorothy said, yeah, check it out. She's like, I helped design some of those when I sat in his lap. And Dorothy's my cat, if you did not know that. So there we go. All right, so let's go for this thrill of possibility. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. But I need to double check. If you're keeping score at home, I think it's officially free time. So let's go and discard Mountain in addition to casting this spell. I think that's fine. We'll have 3 red sources and then 2 utility sources. Okay, so we draw into 2 more lands. So there we go. Let's see, draw into Sword of Feast and Fame, and I will definitely take that. And I think at this point, we'll just end up going for Mountain and going for Sword of Feast and Famine. I think that sounds good. That way if our opponent does have some sort of artifact destruction, if Sword of Feast and Famine sticks around on the battlefield, awesome. We'll be able to use it for Gadrak once we get our artifacts up. But if they do have some artifact removal, we'd much rather prioritize Oblivion Stone sticking around. So we'll hope that if they do, they'll burn it on Sword of Feast and Famine. If they don't use it, then we'll be in a pretty good spot. But yeah, it's officially free time. Let's have some fun. Now, as far as Gadrak, what are we doing with this deck? This is basically mono red sweeper. We have big mana, mono red sweepers, and Planeswalkers. We've got a mono red Super Friends in here, which is a lot of fun. I built this Sarkhan mono red Planeswalker deck for Brawl one time, and it was a lot of fun to pilot. And so I was kind of like, yeah, let's just kind of port that over to this deck, and that's exactly what we're doing. So it's always it's a lot of fun. If you've never built mono red Planeswalkers, it is just none of the Planeswalkers really just close the game out. But if you just get any combination of like 2 or 3 of them on the battlefield, it is it's pretty rough to deal with sometimes. And so we draw into Great Furnace. So we have option to go for Thrain Dynamo into Oblivion Stone, or we can go for Gadrak and block. I really like getting that far ahead on resources. So let's go for Thrain Dynamo. We need to keep up with this Soul Ring and that Thematic Compass going on over there. Let's go for Oblivion Stone. And what we might end up doing is just going for some fate counters on like Thrain Dynamo and Sword of Feast and Famine. Really, if we just get one on Thrain Dynamo, we'll be in a good spot because that'll put them back down to 3 mana, and then we'll be good to go from there. We do have Wasteland in the hand. Then our opponent does have 1 red source, couple black sources. Wasteland in my deck building, I only use it for something like Maze of Ith or Gaia's Cradle or Seraph Sanctum. Lands that we just really need to get rid of. I try to keep these commander games like I'd be playing at a local gaming store or playing with friends, and just popping lands to deny their mana is not something that I typically do. The only time that you're really going to see that is if basically we're going to lose in a couple turns and we just have to keep them off mana. As far as early game popping of Wasteland on different lanes like that, well, also they're basic lanes, so we can't target those. But sometimes people clamor for a Wasteland activation. Like, why didn't you go for it? I'm like, well, just playing it cool over here. So, but yeah, as far as Gadrak goes, I really enjoyed this. I've been dealing with some burnout from Magic for, probably about a year or 2 now. And I still enjoy it, but it's just, Wizards has also increased the amount of sets that release and the supplement sets. And as a content creator, you want to make, you love Magic. And so you're going to make a video for every single thing that released. And the next thing you know, you're like, why am I tired all the time of Magic? In fact, whenever the core set released, I didn't look at spoilers for a week. I just kind of need to take a break. So anyway, I'm back at it. I'm trying to increase my volume back up to 5 videos a week. Right now, basically, if you see a 2 to 3 video a week, it's just, ran out of time with baby girl, or work's been actually surprisingly really busy, especially during the pandemic and stuff like that. So I am thankful for that because we have a family business. And so, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a combination of baby girl and Just being tired sometimes. So, all right, so we run into Storm's Wrath, which actually kind of like that. That's going to get rid of Judith. Let's do this. Let's go for Gadrak. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and the only thing with Storm's Wrath is that will actually get rid of Gadrak completely. Okay, so we go for Great Furnace. Let's go for Gadrak. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and I think we'll still end up going for an Oblivion Stone activation. Yeah, we'll just go and pop that onto Thrain Dynamo. And that way we'll just be open with an open board wipe from here on out. So let's put a fate counter, and then destroy each permanent without a fate counter. Okay, so let's put that, actually, we'll go and put that onto Gadrak. I think that'll be pretty good. So that'll be 1, 2. There we go. All right, so we're going to get the fate counter onto Gadrak. Hopefully we can set ourselves up for really nice Sword of Feast and Famine, and then anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. Now, we are sitting at 3 artifacts for Gadrak, so hopefully we can find one more artifact. That'll make it to where we can start to swing in Sword of Feast and Famine, and that'll be a very good option for us to really get some really good mana. And so that's kind of what we're going for at this point right now. But yeah, as far as whenever they release the core set, I tried to stay away from the spoilers and just whenever they released it, get in there and look at them. And as much as I don't enjoy playing red, when they release a unique mono red commander, something like Gadrak, I'm like, okay, let's go, let's have some fun. And so basically the core concept is let your opponent just flood the board with creatures, use a lot of mono red sweepers, Pyroclasm, Sweltering Suns, different things like that, and just cash in some treasure tokens, and then go for some planeswalkers, just getting down some combination of Shaundra, Sirach, and then we have multiple Shaundras in here, so we have Jaya in here too. So simply being able to use that to not necessarily get as many treasure tokens as possible to cast some Eldrazi creature. We're like, hey, let's just kind of treat this as like almost like this aggressive mid-range deck. We're going to be able to use Gadrak, get that down. It's a 5/4. You're going to be able to stop a lot of your early creatures from swinging in, and then simply just being able to played against Ezuri earlier, and that's probably one of the best decks you can play against. And also, whenever we played against Judith, I was like, okay, yeah, this is you get a bunch of little creatures on the battlefield for the most part, so that should be pretty good for us. Once we get this Sword of Feast and Famine, that's going to make it a 7/5. It's going to make this Storm Wrath a lot better. So I think that's what we might end up doing for next turn. So all right, so we run into Shaundra, and that's still not an artifact, but yeah, I think at this point, let's go for the Sword of Feast and Famine equip, because one of the main things about this is that it's going to give us access to protection from black, which should be a lot of the removal. So if they've got a removal spell with black, they probably would have used it right then and there. Let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Arch, which, yes, we definitely do have the City's Blessing. And we'll go and put another Fate counter. I think we'll just go and dump it onto Sword of Feast and Famine. I kind of like that. Because at this point, we're just kind of protecting our board state to where we can blow it out. And then once we have everything protected on our side, we're going to be in a very good spot. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Yeah, that's going to be one of the main things, is that once we have an active Oblivion Stone, and we're at the point now where we've made all of our land drops, we've got the City's Blessing, so we don't even have to go for a Fate counter under Thrain Dynamo. That'll be pretty good. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, that's going to be 1, 2. Yeah, I was making sure we didn't miss it. We still can't attack unless we have 4 or more artifacts. So yeah, it's only 1, 2, 3. So hopefully if we end up going for Shaundra next turn, that allows us to exile the top part of our library. It might be an artifact on top, and that'll allow us to start swinging in. That would be pretty nice, because that'll be essentially 4 turns of commander damage. As far as the Voltron package, we're running a very light Voltron package in here. We Black Blade Reforged. We also have Sculpting Steel in here, and that's going to keep us open on just numerous things. You can imagine us, Sculpting Steel on Oblivion Stone, Sculpting Steel on Sword of Feast and Famine. It's just going to keep us open for whatever we want to just basically get down. Other than that, it's just damage, Planeswalkers, and mono red draw. We've got Memory Jar. We also do have a Mirrorworks in here. Mirrorworks is one of my favorite cards. If you're playing a deck that has a lot, it's mono red. If it has a lot of artifacts, Mirrorworks, just go and toss it in there. It's just such a good value card. Okay, so our opponent's going to go for the activation from Viscera Seer. That's going to be 1 damage up top. They did sacrifice Judith, so we'll see what else they have to kind of show for it. I guess if they want to sacrifice and then recast Judith, they can certainly do that. But we'll see. One of the cool things about the new commander rule, the death tax, is that it does apply to, let's say we get rid of Judith, she goes to the graveyard, then goes back to the command zone. One of the cool things about that is that's still going to give us treasure tokens for Gadrak, which is going to be very nice. So, all right, so let's see what we draw into for the turn. That's going to be Honor the God Pharaoh. Okay, so we do have an active Oblivion Stone. Do we just want to pop this right now? That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that'll be good because that'll still give us access to Shaundra. Yeah, I kind of like that. All right, so we're going to go for sacrifice. Yeah, let's do that because that's going to get rid of Soul Ring, Thematic Compass, Rakdos Signet. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, and let's go for Shaundra. And then at this point, we'll go for the +1. We can plus. Actually, we can end up plussing up for. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll add double red mana to our mana pool. Let's go for Buried Ruin. We'll go for Honor the Pharaoh God. It's going to be 1, 2, and then we'll discard. Yeah, I think we can actually get rid of Storm's Wrath at this point. No, we'll get rid of Wasteland. Excuse me. Yeah, that'll be better. All right, so we're gonna go for Honor of the God Pharaoh. Oh, there we go. Blackblade Reforge, and then anything else we will pass the turn over there. So next turn we've got the draw step. We do have Buried Ruin. That's going to allow us to bring something back to our hand. We're going to get at least I think 2 treasure token. No, excuse me, 1 treasure token. And between Sword of Feast and Famine, Blackblade Reforge, treasure token, a Buried Ruin activation. Let's see if we have enough mana to do all of that. We do have Shaundra adding 2 red mana to our mana pool, so that's going to be Buried Ruin right there. We can bring Oblivion Stone back, and that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll be, yeah, I think that'll actually be just enough for Blackblade Reforged to equip onto Gad. Yeah, that'll be very nice, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be +7. That'll put us at a 14 total power coming across with an untap. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan, so we'll see what we can get into. But yeah, this is one of the things why, we kind of built this deck in this manner, is that not necessarily, you're not trying to power out all these artifacts for Eldrazi creatures. You're not necessarily trying to, end up with this crazy. I mean, yeah, you could probably build some sort of infinite combo with Gadrak, but simply just treating it as just a, oh, excuse me, we do have protection from black, so that's going to be good. Oh, but it's going to be sacrifice. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Yep, that's going to get it. Okay. All right, so we'll sacrifice Gadrak and we'll sacrifice a zombie army. And we will definitely send Gadrak back to the command zone. Yes, we will. And so we can still set us up next turn. If we simply just want to get rid of Liliana, I think we might end up going for Storm's Wrath. The only thing that they can do is go for the +1. And if we want to cut off card draw, I guess we could go for that. Let's just kind of see what we draw into for the turn. We've got the draw, and we do have the exile from Shaundra. One of the good things about Gadrak being 3 mana and really not that restrictive is that you can cast it pretty quick again, especially when you rip into something like Soul Ring. So let's go for Soul Ring. And actually, you know what? We might have been able to swing in. I think I forgot that Great Furnace was an artifact. I think that was definitely a goof on my part. I'm just now seeing that because I was trying to figure out why that text went away, and I think I goofed up on that. So I do apologize. I think that was me on that one. Let's go Sword of Feast and Famine onto Gadrak. That's going to be 1, 2. Yeah, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we do have an active Sword of Feast and Famine. Yeah, for some reason earlier I was like, man, I don't think we have it. So we will be able to swing in next turn. And we'll kind of go from there. Unfortunately, this is the second game that I'm playing with Gadrak, so keeping track of an artifact laying like that, sometimes you just lose little things like that. So let's go for the +1. Yeah, I think I like that. Well, hopefully, maybe we can catch like a small mana rock or something like that. We still have access to at least 3 total mana, and that's going to be Sarkhan. Oh, we can't cast it. That would have been very nice, but nope, we're going to have to not cast that one. Let's go for Blackblade Reforge, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over there. So we're looking at Blackblade coming down next turn. We also do have Storm's Wrath to deal with Liliana if they do end up making that creature down. That'll actually end up working out for us if they go for the +1 or get down any combination of creatures, because we are sitting at a 7/6, and that will allow us to kind of clean up Liliana, get rid of that token, and cash in an extra treasure token. Yeah, if I goofed up earlier with not swinging in, that's just that's kind of one of the unfortunate side effects of playing with the new commander. There's just certain little things that, as you deliver a video and you deliver commentary, you kind of have to turn your brain into autopilot mode as far as little game mechanics. And unfortunately, that was one of those. So, all right, Poto's going to go for a Ring of 3 Wishes. We'll see what they got coming down off of that. It's going to be 5 mana activation, and we'll see what else they have to show for it. But this Storm's Wrath is actually looking pretty good, so I think we'll be able to jam that next turn. With Shaundra, yeah, if we can get to that -7, that's going to be very good. Yeah, unfortunately, that's little bit of a bummer with the Sarkhan, because that's basically the reason why we do have these planeswalkers in here, because you get that +1, turning all of your planeswalkers into 4/4 dragons. That is, I know I say it a lot, but that is some very good magic right there. All right, so we draw into Mountain. Let's go for Blackblade Reforged. We're going to equip onto Gadrak. That's going to be 1/2. And let's just see if we hit another piece of Voltron. We only have like 3 pieces of Voltron in here. So let's go for the +1. We're going to exile the top card of our library, and we'll see what that is. If hopefully it's something nice that we can go for. But we're looking at a 15 right now. 15. Oh, I'm digging that. And let's have that come down. Let's go and swing across. We've got a 16, 13 coming in. And what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably end up going for this Buried Ruin on Oblivion Stone. That way, if something happens with the Ring of 3 Wishes, that will allow us to do that. So let's go for Buried Ruin. We're going to go ahead and sacrifice and bring Oblivion Stone back to our hand. It's going to be 1/2, because we're going to get this Sword of Feast and Famine untap, which will really kind of help us out. So let's bring Oblivion Stone back to the hand. There we go. Swinging in for a 15, 14. That's going to be the Sword of Feast and Famine trigger. There's nothing that we can do at instant speed right now, so we'll simply just have to... well, I guess we could have, oh, dang it, we could have gone for an Arch activation. And then we go back to our main phase. Yeah, I think we just still end up going for Storm's Wrath, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We go for Storm's Wrath, and that's going to clear out the Planeswalkers. They do get to cash in a card draw, but at least we'll still be able to go for Oblivion Stone. So there we go. It's going to be 1, 2, and then anything else, we will pass it back over there. So if we still want to do the Oblivion Stone option again, we can go for Oblivion Stone, putting Doom counters on there. But at this point right now, they're almost going to have to Ring of 3 Wishes for some sort of board wipe to get rid of Gadrak. So we'll see what they can assemble for the turn. All right, opponent's going to go for a Rakdos Cluestone activation, draw a card. It's going to be Beseech the Queen. Search your library, the number of lands you control. Okay, so we're looking at possibly Damnation. And if that is Damnation, it's not the end of the world. And we might... Now, if we end up going for the Oblivion Stone, that's going to get rid of our Soul Ring. It's going to get rid of Shaundra. It'll get rid of Ring of 3 Wishes if we want to stop any sort of extra activations. Let's just see what they end up grabbing or what they end up casting off of the grab. All right, so our opponents are going for Sheoldred Whispering One. At the beginning of your upkeep, return each opponent's upkeep that player sacrifices a creature. Okay, so they ended up grabbing that. We'll see if they have any payoff, but I think... and they don't have a ring activation, so I think that should be a good game. But let's see what... let's see what else is coming down, because they're sitting at 11 and they're sitting at 15 total commander damage. So I think oh, look at Jaya. How good that looks. Actually, move it over there. Look how good she looks. All right, so let's go ahead and push. Let's just push in and see if they have any funny business, Lebowski. I mean, we've got protection from black, so I think we've got this. So we'll push in. If they don't have an answer, then we'll go from there. But I'm feeling like that should be a good game. All right, there we go. All right, put our opponent down to -4. We got the Sword of Feast and Famine trigger on the stack. We did play against a Judith deck that, is probably a little bit more towards the budget option. I don't want to, just... When I release videos like this, the main thing that I'm going for is I want to be able to showcase what the commander is capable of. And if the deck kind of does perform in a manner of, hey, this is what the deck is intended to do, I like to release it. We got down Shaundra really quick. We got access to quick mana. We have a very light Voltron package in here, and we're able to get Sword of Feast and Famine and Blackblade onto Gadrak. So you can kind of see how if you wanted to go a little bit Voltron, or not necessarily super heavy Voltron, you can certainly do that. There's just a lot of different ways that you can take Gadrak, and the fact that you're going to be able to cash in extra treasure tokens off of your sweeper effects, that is always a nice feeling. But yes, I'm excited to record more with this commander. There's been some really fun mono red commanders released recently, and they've been my favorite decks to play, so you're definitely seeing a lot more of Gadrak. And if you have any suggestions, hop in the comments. I always like to read those. But other than that, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.